Guys, it's going to be Golden Boy Live. Darius Fulghum versus Vaughn Alexander on the latest edition of War Week Boxing.
W.A.W presents Big Time Boxing USA on War-A-Week Radio.
Guys, welcome. Happy Thursday to all of you. And I tell you what, I absolutely love these Thursday nights. And these dates are absolutely necessary for the future of boxing, especially in the American market with Golden Boy Promotions. Their developmental Thursday nights on DAZN. Basically the equivalent of their Friday night fights, right? And right now we're watching Kalkruth versus Holloway. Now, up to this point, I think this is Tristan Kalkruth, now a heavyweight, started out as a cruiserweight, very deceptively athletic, hard puncher. Used to train with my friend Ronnie Shields. And I think he's managed by Lester Bedford. And this is a guy who Golden Boy has very high hopes for. And he seems to be filling out in the heavyweight division very well. He's the big guy who can do the backflip in the ring post-fight, right? And he's doing very well. Holloway right now is, he looks very awkward and looks very uncomfortable. And the ref just got on his ass in round one for tying up too much in the outset of the fight. And that's important, guys. The ref needs to set that precedent. Needs to draw that line in the sand, so to speak. And I tell you what, right now we're about a minute in round number two, guys. I hope you guys are watching with me because Tristan has a lot of potential. Very athletic kid from Texas. Followed him as an amateur. He's from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And he's doing a great job cutting off the ring, being patient, fighting behind the jab, basically trying to force this guy to let his hands go and create those openings, but he's not having any part of it. Excuse me. Good overhand right. Tristan swing and a miss with the left hook. Almost finds its mark, but he's almost there. He's almost found range, guys. Now, Holloway is a tough guy, and he's supposed to give Tristan some rounds, but I don't know if it's going to play out that way. Because Holloway's one of those heavyweights who likes to throw 1-2, throw one punch, and then tie you up in the inside so he doesn't get countered effectively. Now, a lot of morons who don't know what they're looking at, they will often claim that that's the sweet science. Not only to someone who doesn't know any better. This is on YouTube, actually, guys. It's on DAZN and YouTube. So that's my brother, Big Luke, from New York. Welcome to the show. Tell you what, Mini Meal, welcome to the program, sir. I hope you're enjoying this fight card with me. Also, Julio Martinez. Ryan Garcia's innocent. Ay chingao. Indeed, my friend. Alberto Joe, we need a live like this for Saturday. I'm going to be doing this tomorrow night, and I'm going to have a very special guest who's going to be doing color with me, right? So I can't announce it now because I'm still working on it. Well, it's one of two guys, so that's why realistically, I can't announce it. But guys, I'm going to be making the call in Floresville, Texas on next Saturday night. So I'm going to be, trying to stay sharp by doing this tonight and tomorrow night. So round 3, we're 15 seconds into round number 3. And Tristan, he's a guy who fights really well from mid to long range. Holloway, what he needs to do is stop holding and start working underneath because of the long reach of Tristan. He doesn't fight proficiently on the inside. So that's where he wants to be. He wants to bury his head right in his chest, but he apparently doesn't know how to fight on the inside as well. And once again, guys, that's a huge pet peeve of mine, right? I can't stand excessive holding because there's only one reason why a fighter holds. Well, 2 actually. 1, if they're hurt. That's understandable. You're going to do whatever you have to do to survive. But another reason, and the most often used, is you don't know how to fight on the inside. You're tying up your opponent out of necessity, a la Devin Haney versus George Kambosos Jr. Every time Kambosos got inside, he would wrap him up like an octopus. And that's awful. That's an awful fan experience. No one wants to see it. Holloway showing some signs of life here. Banging away at the body of Tristan Kalkruth, red hot prospect, undefeated, or he's got 1 loss, I think. And I think that was the fight. I actually saw that live. I think he threw out his shoulder. It was dislocated and he lost the fight. And I think that was on the undercard, if I'm not mistaken, of Virgil Ortiz, Mean Machine, Igas Calvo Vasquez. But thank you for joining us, Alberto. Appreciate it, my friend. Oh, hold on. Yeah, big look. I defected just across the border to Pennsylvania. Wow. 10,000 a year better off in taxes. Wow. Well, congratulations, brother. You are a citizen now of PA. Yep. What a difference. What a difference a border makes, right? And I think with the ongoing debates, and once again, no pun intended, but yeah, that's going to be a huge topic during tonight's debates between Dumb and Dumber, right? So there it is. But look, I joke, but no offense, guys. But look, good right hand by Tristan Kalkruth rocks Holloway at the very end of the round, end of round number 3, guys. Wow, Tristan is now training with W.A.W. I didn't know that. See, that's why we like watching these fights, man. Learn something new. Like I said, Tristan was an excellent amateur standout, right? He had that range, had that power, had that deceptive athleticism as a cruiserweight in the amateurs, as a light heavyweight in the amateurs as well. Now he's migrated up to heavyweight, and he's filled out extremely well. He looks like a heavyweight now. He's getting older. I'll tell you what, W.A.W. is an excellent trainer, guys. Round 4 begins. Both men meet in the center of the ring. Holloway starting out with a jab, using his forward as the foundation of his defense. Tristan creeping forward, trying to set up that big right hand with the left hook. Look for that, guys. See, Tristan is doing a great job trying to use that jab in disjunct and odd intervals, because he does it. The last thing he wants to do is use it like the Errol Spence volume jab, in which you can time it like a clock. Tristan is doing the right thing, mixing touch jabs, feints, hard sticking jabs. Now, what I'd like to see him do is change levels. Crack him in the top of the head, crack him in the chest with the jab, crack him in the gut. Change levels to set up that overhand right. Holloway is not finding any daylight with Tristan working very well behind the high guard. He jumps in with the look. Tristan still has a lot of growing up to do. Because if you notice, guys, he is tipping off every time he wants to throw that right hand, and it gives Holloway enough time to identify it and get out of the way. He's going to have to double and triple up the jab to set up that right hand, guys. That's exactly what I would tell him if I were Bomac in the corner. Double and triple it at times. Blind him, put some, in the mortal words of Teddy Atlas, put some bugs on the windshield to set up the right hand. You've got to do something because your technique isn't very good. But that's why they have these fights, so they can look at fight tape, identify their shortcomings, add that seasoning as they go. That's what the 4, 6, and 8 round levels are all about. So I know a lot of fans who don't understand the business any better. Really understand the business. They often criticize guys from the Eastern Bloc, Eastern Europe, or Cuba, who get elevated. Oh, he's found a home for that right hand now. Good left hook by Kalkruth. Now he's in business. But he needs to set it up again, guys. It's just that one shot that can hurt your opponent and put him out. Kalkruth has great power. And he just got tagged with a short, compact right hand on the inside. Here comes Holloway. Looks like Tristan got buzzed a little bit. And I think the referee is doing a very good job here, forcing them to police themselves and break themselves up. Yeah. And maybe I'll get a gas lease. I tell you what, guys, I want to thank you all for joining me last night. That was a lot of fun. With me until the wee hours of the morning. I tell you what, guys. One thing I will say, right, which has nothing to do with boxing. The older I get, the more I appreciate fresh ground coffee. Because this morning, after staying up until after 1, right? I got some beans, some fresh black rifle coffee, ground them, and I tell you what, it was one of the best cups I've had in a very long time. Love me some Black Rifle coffee. But the key is, though, you've got to get beans and grind them yourselves right there before you make your coffee. It's the beginning of round number 5, guys. Tristan is, once again, man, he needs to double and triple up the jab. If you're at mid-range, the worst thing you can do is just throw out a single jab because you're going to get countered. Anyone with experience is going to look to counter you effectively if you're flicking it out at mid-range and it doesn't have a whole lot behind it. You're going to have to double it and triple it at times. $150 left in round number 5, almost midway through the fight. And you know what, Tristan, he's got power, but I don't know what happened between when he used to work at Ronnie Shields and now Bomac. His technique doesn't look very solid. It looks very, very easy to tip off when he's throwing punches. Holloway actually has the shorter, more compact technique. where it's a lot more difficult to tip off when he's going to, or anticipate when he's going to let his hands go. Tristan definitely needs to work on that if he wants to advance in the heavyweight division. Good combination. Double jab to the body and then overhand right by Tristan Calcruth. Good short compact left hook on the inside. That was an excellent hook off the jab. Less than a minute left in round number 5. And Holloway, yep, it was a great job of matchmaking, giving the young prospect some rounds. It's forcing Tristan to actually work, giving him some different looks. This is how you learn, guys. This is how you prepare for the championship fights, right? Add that seasoning. So I can't stand, guys, fighters who tie up ad nauseum because they have those deficiencies on the inside. We call those donut fighters in the business. Very good from mid to long range, but absolutely nothing on the inside, right? Oh, thank you, Alberto. I appreciate it, my friend. I tell you what, God is great, my friend. God is great. Thanks be to God. All glory and honor to him. I never understood people that buy coffee beans at Costco, then grind them before leaving the store. Yeah, that makes absolutely 0 sense, brother. Buy your own grinder. It's not that much. At the most, I think a good grinder is going to cost you like 25, 30 bucks. That's it. Let's see. Joe, I'm a fan of Pete's coffee. Yeah, but I'm intrigued by Black Rifle is good stuff, man. Honestly, go with the black. Go with the black. That's the one I got, and it is awesome. I don't know what their secret is, how they roast them, whatever, but it is wonderful. And it's the best thing to wake you up in the morning. And when you get to be my age, yeah, you need all the help you can get. How you doing, Low Clarity? It's good to see you here, brother. Hope you're enjoying the fights with us. It's young heavyweight Tristan Calcruth from Texas taking on Holloway. And he has proven Holloway to be a tough piece of meat, rugged, experienced, fight veteran. But I don't know if he's here to win because he looks to be like he lands the occasional shot and he's got 6 knockouts on his resume. But yeah, it doesn't look like he looks like he's more reactionary. He's reacting more than he's actually trying to come forth and impose his will on the young fighter. But this is a kid that Golden Boy has been very high on. And he seems to have bounced back from that dislocated shoulder quite well. But usually when you see someone who's young, hungry, and talented, you usually start to see in a 10-round fight that separation from this point forward until the end of the fight. And I'm not seeing that right now from Tristan Calcruth. Good combination on the inside from Tristan, but it looks like he's pushing his shots. It almost reminds me of a young David Benavidez, right? Are you guys seeing the same similarities? But it looks like I don't know how Benavidez gets that kind of leverage on his shots because they throw him the same way. It's very quick out the shoot, very straight, tight, compact. But once again, Benavidez, you saw a difference in power, but that had a lot to do, from what I've been told, was the injury in his hand. And he was very ginger regarding that left eye. in the back half of the fight. But he's not, I would like to see him mix up, use more of a creative combination arsenal, right? It's very easy to anticipate where Tristan, what combinations he's going to throw and where he's going to land them. And Holloway's doing a very good job of adapting. This is actually on YouTube and DAZN. Golden Boy Fight Night. Darius Fulghum versus Vaughn Alexander. Guys, and forgive me for not mentioning this earlier, right? But I'd like to take this time to recognize, and well, my heart goes out to a very dear friend of mine, someone who I've known for a while now, and who is one of the best guys you'll ever meet in this business and in this sport, one of the best ambassadors we've had over the last 30 years, and that's Roy Jones Jr. and the passing of his son. Yeah, well, that was a tough one. And my condolences, and God be with his family at this time. So don't forget tonight, guys, please keep Roy and his family in your prayers. And I'll talk more about that as soon as these fights are over, guys. Round 7 is underway, though. 2:23 left in round number 7. And Tristan, excuse me, needs to start fighting with more urgency. And as I say that, lands a sharp left hook, gets the attention of Vaughn Alexander, or not Vaughn, my apologies, Holloway. And he just needs to have that sense of urgency. It's important to get this guy some rounds, but he's not putting his foot on the gas and testing this guy. And it's funny. I always think it's comical how these fighters. It's funny. You've got the Golden Boy brass right there ringside, and they're looking for something. And this is going to determine how they match you up from this point forward. It's his first 10-round fight, Tristan Kalkruth. But, they do a very good job of matching up their prospects, where it's a fight that they can win, but it's a fight that they're going to be tested. And it's going to highlight some of your shortcomings if you have them. And you're going to know what you have to work on during camp. And so that's why this is a developmental Thursday. And these are absolutely essential for boxing. Once again, how are you supposed to make the young stars of boxing if we don't get to see them, right? So it's imperative for fight fans to support channels like this, like ProBox, like my brother Dimitri Salita, Big Time Boxing USA on DAZN as well as Red Owl, Overtime Boxing. They do a great job in highlighting young ticket sellers, right? And that's pretty much what we do in San Antonio as well. Good overhand right, but Holloway's doing a very good job of deflecting, turning that left shoulder to where it catches some of the impact before it hits him. He's a crafty veteran, but he's just not doing as much offensively as he should if he wants to win the fight. Keep in mind, guys. Yeah, Alberto. It's God be with him on this day and his family. And we'll talk about that after the fight, because this is yeah. That's just absolutely tragic. And Roy is one of the best guys I've ever met in this business. He's such a good, God-fearing individual. Yeah, it's very sobering. Well, Tristan now has 3 more rounds to work. He needs to create that sense of urgency, though. Look, I can hear the commentary right now, and they're talking about Anthony Holloway possibly throwing in the towel, and I don't know what fight they're watching. Because, yeah, where he's not really doing very much offensively. He's not getting hurt. He's not taking a beating. Excuse me, guys. Just some This rig is diminutive. That's hilarious. But yeah, it's not it's not a small ring, though. It's not the smallest I've ever seen. Low clarity, please remind me to tell you the story of the smallest ring I ever saw in a championship fight. Oh, I was working with Emmanuel at the time, and oh my gosh. A good overhand right by Tristan Kalkruth with at the 134 mark in round number 8. And once again, good left hook once again, but he needs to set it up. He's just lunging in with it. And Anthony Holloway is experienced enough where he can pick it off. And because he's lunging in from mid to long range. And yeah, if you give a real pro, a veteran, an athletic guy that much space, he's going to pick it off and see how much he's going to react to, be able to react in time. If he's going to be fighting consistently from this range, he's going to have to mask it a little bit better. He's going to have to set it up a little bit more proficiently because he's not fooling anyone from this range. Tristan should be imposing his will at this time. And I'm sure Bomac's going to be chewing that ass after this round because, once again, with the Golden Boy brass there at ringside, this is going to affect how they match him up next time. They want to know what they have. Did I actually tell you the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. story with the 15-foot ring in El Paso? Oh, boy. Emmanuel is fuming. It's funny, guys, when you go back and you look at that ring, in the beginning of the fight, whenever you see Michael Buffer, or Jimmy Lennon Jr., when you see him in the center of the ring trying to make the official fighter introductions, like it looked like there was a crowd around him because there was nowhere else for anyone to stand. I don't know if you guys have ever, and once again, it was so strange looking because not only was it a tiny ring, 15 by 15, the smallest ring that is accepted in the Texas State Athletic Commission, but also it was in the Sun Bowl. It was in the football stadium in El Paso. So it was cavernous. It was really strange. It looked like they were fighting in a shoebox. Round number 9 begins. Tristan Kalkruth. He's got 1 loss on his resume, but highly touted prospect out of Golden Boy Promotions. Good quick right hand. Good quick jab, too. It looks like he's maybe found his second win, Tristan, or maybe Bomac in between rounds lit a fire underneath him. Either way, though, guys, this is, Tristan He looks solid, but there's several things that he needs to work on. Guys, in between this fight, we're going to talk about the press conference and tomorrow night's main event. We're going to size everything up. And yeah, we're working on several things. We're going to have a very busy day tomorrow. We're going to have several featured guests on War Week Boxing. And we do this all for you guys. Yeah, Tristan needs a much more creative arsenal of punches. He's got the left hook, hook off the jab, straight right hand, the jab, and that's it. I don't see very much else, guys. And the location is the same. He's not doing a very good job of mixing up his punch placement. Now, if I remember, oh, good right hand, and it hurt Anthony Holloway. He's trying to hold on. Let's see if Tristan can get him out of there. Perfectly timed overhand right. Holloway looks like he is just trying to survive. And he's looked this way for most of the fight, not letting his hands go with regularity. It looks like he's bracing himself for impact, right? That's the first uppercut I've ever seen him. I've seen him throw this fight, and it was effective. Once again, Tristan, here we're going into the final round, and yeah, well, look, to his defense. Hold on. Smoking over there, Joe? Well, unfortunately, it's the only vice I have at this time. I'm smoking Lucky Strikes. So there it is. Look, we're gonna have a special guest on at noon. And then we're gonna have a special guest on at 7 o'clock. And then from there, we're gonna just call the fight action as it happens. We're gonna be on for the entire undercard. So we're looking at a full day of Warwick Boxing on YouTube, guys. Smoking, did you hear my lighter or something? Is that what you did? Low clarity? Yeah. The final round of this 10-round special attraction with highly touted prospect Tristan Kaltruth, young heavyweight from Texas. And yeah, look, to his defense, guys, it's very difficult to get a guy out of there who's a world-class fighter, has a lot of experience, and he looks like he's trying to just go the rounds. But he's not trying to win the fight, because keep in mind, guys, fights are scored by clean, effective, and consequential punching. And that's something that Holloway doesn't look like he's interested in doing, because he knows Tristan is an excellent counterpuncher. And there's going to be something coming back if he gives him a decent open window in which to counter, right? So he's just throwing one maybe sporadic punch at a time. That's it. Not putting anything together, not staying in one place. Good combination by Tristan Kaltruth at 153 left in the fight. And then both men tie up. Chingao. Good overhand right once again. But it's doing a good job, Anthony, of kind of rolling away from the shots. not getting full impact, right? Geez, I was wondering who that was. Gabe Rosado is doing the commentary, the color commentary for the Golden Boy broadcast with Beto Duran. Um, Gabe, it's funny. When I first met him, he was a Russell Peltz fighter, so he came up the hard way. But Russell Peltz understood that the fans are the real bosses of boxing. You've got to keep them happy. They want to see a competitive 50-50 fight. And as early as the 4 and 6 round levels, yeah, he put Gabe, King Rosado, King Gabe, right? Stuck him in tough. Even though and you know what? As a result, it really created a very high market value in the Philadelphia area. Russell Peltz, he was the Don Chargan of the East Coast. This is one of the, like, Russell Peltz was, now he's semi-retired now, but he was the last of the Mohicans in terms of developing fighters the right way. And he did a great job developing Gabe Rosado. But that's it, guys. 10 rounds in the books. Easy. 10-0 fight to score for Tristan Kalkruth, but I can't say that I'm overtly ecstatic and impressed with Kalkruth's performance. No, the main event is coming up. Darius Fulghum, undefeated prospect from Houston, Texas, 11-0 with 10 knockouts. He's fighting wily veteran guys who are going to be very hard to time effectively, and that's Vaughn Alexander. But Darius likes to take the lead. He's a very physically gifted fighter with heavy hands, and he's a big ticket seller in Houston. But he needs to get some seasoning. He needs to become more proficient in his offense, in his technique. He's a very raw young fighter, but he's got a lot of physical gifts and he's got a lot of potential. But you're going to see exactly what I'm referring to, guys. Oh, we're going to talk about that, my friend. Oh, and there's Tristan Kalkruth's signature backflip in the ring. But yes, we're going to talk about that tonight. And look, guys, well, here's the official verdict, guys. Wow, they actually found a round to give to Anthony Holloway. Scores of 99-91. Holy shit. Pardon my French, guys. Just I'm right here on my patio, guys, and I always call the fights outside with the outside TV. And yeah, a possum comes walking up right next to me. Chingao. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you guys joining us. Yeah. So in between these fights, guys, so it's up to you guys. What do you want to talk about? On my brother Mill City Boxing from Houston. He staged an intervention of sorts. Ryan Garcia, Bill Haney on a conference call with Zab Judah, which is and he's responsible for making this happen. Zab Judah, if you didn't know, is Devin Haney's godfather. right? So, yeah. And Devin learned a lot of his craft from Yoel Judah. And if you remember when Bill Haney was banned from flying to Australia, he was the gentleman who was repairing Devin Haney for his first major title effort, winning undisputed at 35 against George Kambosos Jr. But so he was responsible for actually making that happen. And yeah, so if you guys have been listening to everything that we've been talking about, I hope that it was very evident what you saw, right? And we're not going to expound on it yet, but um yeah, guys, look, and the one thing we love about boxing that really mirrors life is the truth always reveals itself. Always, guys. And well, the truth revealed itself very quickly on this conference call. If you know the whole story and haven't chosen sides, right? It was evident. And so once again, one of the biggest pet peeves that I actually have in this business with fans and with even fighters, it's like, look, guys, if you're going to be in this business, understand what PEDs are on the banned substance list and what a PED actually is. Because most people think if you test positive for any banned substance, they automatically assume that you're taking steroids. And Bill Haney is one of these guys. He's an idiot. And it was obvious. And it was cringe, guys. It was cringe. Big Luke has the beat. Guys, the great Russell Peltz, one of the great promoters of all time. He's in the Hall of Fame from Philly. The great one, Russell Peltz, one of the last of the Mohicans. And yeah, he sure knows how to tell a story now, doesn't he? And guys, it's available on Amazon if you want to purchase one of his stories, one of his books. Great stuff, guys. So next up is the main event, and this is Active Fantasy Springs Casino. Look, in my opinion, guys, and I've never understood this, and it just kind of showcases, highlights the laziness of these promoters. Golden Boy Promotions. What the hell are you doing? You've gotten the co-main event and the main event, respectively. Two prospects from Texas. And you have this fight taking place in Northern California in the middle of the desert. Really? Really? It's like, why is this at the Fantasy Springs Casino? Beat your feet, sell tickets, get the local businesses involved. I would have helped out. Chingao, dude, but why are they featuring two fighters from Texas in California in the middle of the desert? Doesn't make sense to me, but look, one thing that we specialize in the promoters that I work with, TMB Promotions, South Park Boxing, Robert Garcia Promotions, Texas Boxers and Brawlers Promotions. One thing that we do is we sell tickets. We get these guys on local broadcasts, local news, and we get local businesses involved. We get the local fans involved. We generate and we cultivate ticket sellers in South Texas. And currently we're working with a couple of signed fighters, and they let us work with them because not only do we do a decent job and proficient job of matchmaking, but we also create ticket sellers here. It's one of the healthiest markets, if not the healthiest market in the country. for club shows. We get actually on average over 4,000 tickets ticket buyers for club shows. I guarantee you there aren't that many at the Fantasy Springs Casino right now. That's why the lights are turned off outside the ring. It's important, guys, to put the product in front of mainstream fans, not tuck it away in some sterile casino. Your fighter really doesn't benefit from that. Because you put a fighter, it's a strange phenomenon. You put a fighter in front of thousands of supportive fans that are there to see him. Yeah, he'll give you so much more. He'll put forth so much more effort. He'll recognize his potential. And that's part of it, guys. Wow, low clarity. I've never seen boxing live in southeastern Wisconsin. And I wonder how I'd accomplish that. Well, brother, I'll tell you what, man. I'm gonna give you my email address. And if you're genuinely interested in getting into this business and staging shows, I don't know what kind of commission they have in Wisconsin. I've never staged a fight there, and I've never been a part of one in Wisconsin, but I'll find out for you, my friend. And so I'm going to give you my email address. Send me your personal information. I'll contact you, brother, okay? If you're serious about this, yeah, please contact me, my friend. We need more good people in this business in the American market. We're all here for each other, brother. And once again, I was very fortunate enough to learn this business from some very experienced, wise people. And I felt very grateful. So I'm always looking to give back as well. It's my pleasure, my friend. Hey, Suzanne, welcome to the show, sir. I'll tell you what, I'm really looking forward to seeing Darius Fulghum. Once again, guys, he's very tough, physically gifted fighter, big ticket seller in Houston. But from what I've seen up to this point, he's very green. He's as green as the grass in front of me, guys. But he's that diamond in the rough. He's got a lot of potential. So we'll see what we have tonight, facing his toughest test to date by far in Vaughn Alexander from St. Louis. I have to tell you, while they're doing this featurette of Darius, I have to tell you, man, I am excited about this main event on DAZN from Matchroom Sport. And I'm hoping that we get a much better crowd, a much healthier crowd than the last one that was in Phoenix, Glendale, Arizona. And that was Bam Rodriguez versus Sonny Edwards. It was a unification bout at 112 pounds, and they only had 4,100, according to the State Athletic Commission. They only had 4,100 paying customers, right? Guys, that's unacceptable. Unacceptable. Here's the main event of the evening, guys. Darius Fulghum versus Vaughn Alexander. By far, his toughest test to date. And look, like I said, there's always a strategy when you're bringing someone along and he's at the 4, 6, and 8 round level. You're trying to put him in a position where he can win the fight, but he's going to be tested, and you're going to know exactly what you have before. And it's a very smart strategy, because before you invest a lot of money in this kid, you've got to know what you have, right? And so that's what the purpose is tonight, and that's why I absolutely love these dates. And that's why I strongly urge all of you great fight fans to really get into these developmental dates, so you understand what the future looks like in the American landscape. Look, man, Sonny, even though he got his ass whooped and got knocked out, and I thought he chose the worst possible strategy against a marksman like Bam Rodriguez. You got to give him credit. He's got balls. That kid's got balls from the UK, man. He is a tough kid. Um, and he's customarily a boxer puncher, a guy that moves very well in the ring. And he elected to fight the hardest punching flyweight in the world. He elected to fight him in the pocket. Yeah, that didn't make any sense. But I'll tell you what, give him an E for effort, because it made for a great fight. I actually thought Sonny was going to give him a lot more problems because of his lateral movement. And look, guys, one thing I've been watching Bam since he was an amateur, and the only chink in the armor he has is he's not very proficient at cutting off the ring and closing the distance. That's it. But if you elect to fight him in the pocket, he's going to carve you up like a Thanksgiving turkey, and expect that tomorrow night, right? But this is going to be a great fight, dude. El Gallo Estrada. That's a very good fighter, but I think he's a little too long in the tooth for this kind of specimen. Yeah, yeah. Honestly, like I said, I have a newfound respect for Sonny Edwards, though. Um, yeah, I was very impressed with his courage and his willingness to fight, and he showed a lot of heart and a lot of toughness. And I, for one, can't wait to see him fight again tomorrow. And we're going to be calling the action tomorrow as well. Big Luke, learn much of it from the Don. Yes, sir. Those were the very best shows. God, we miss him. Yes, we do. I miss Don every day. Um, like I said, I was very fortunate to have probably the best mentors you could possibly have in this business. Emmanuel, James, Ronnie, the Don. I mean, yeah, that's the only reason why I'm still in this business, guys. And Luke, yeah, you were there, man. You were there learning just as much as I was. So here comes the main event of the evening. Judges, Raul Cailles Sr. Wow, he's still scoring fights. I love it. You know, I will say this. This ring announcer is quite good. It's funny because ring announcing, it's not easy, guys. And this guy, when you meet him and you talk to him off the mic, he doesn't sound anything like this when he talks. And you're like, wait a minute, this guy doesn't really have a voice that pops. How is he a ring announcer? And then he gets on the mic and he sounds like this. It's the freakiest thing. Now, look, Vaughn is a guy. He's not a punisher. Why would you use the ring moniker of the animal? And here comes the highly tattered prospect, new signee from Golden Boy, Houston, Texas, 11-0 with 10 knockouts, Darius Fulghum. And honestly, guys, yeah, you're gonna see. I want to get your thoughts, though. I want to get your thoughts on what you see because you've already heard my assessment. I want you to see. Let me know what you guys think of Darius Fulghum. And this is by far the most experienced and toughest fighter that's going to be on his resume up to this point. And once again, this is strategic. Golden Boy wants to see what they have, right? Round number one begins. Both guys meet in the center of the ring. Now, Fulghum is not a guy who likes to um, have a waiting or now this is his first 10-round fight, though. He's not a guy, though, who usually likes to have a feeling out round first. He usually likes to use his athleticism and power to set the tempo and really impose his will on his opponents. But with a guy like Vaughn Alexander, yeah, he may elect to get his eyes adjusted to the timing, the movement, the pace, and the speed of his opponent. Right? Oh boy. First minute, not very much. Once again, though, Vaughn Alexander not giving him very many opportunities to land cleanly. So that's the purpose of the probing jab. He wants to see what Vaughn actually has. He's just using the sporadic jab, little right hook on the inside from Darius Fulghum, a little uppercut. I like his punch arsenal, though, right now, his creative placement. He looks like he's just trying to get Vaughn to open up. And Vaughn's not having any part of it with 122 left in round number one. Well, excuse me. I've only counted maybe one, maybe two punches from Vaughn Alexander so far in round number one. It's 56 seconds left. There's another little right hand to the body from Alexander. Didn't do much. See, like, this is why I'm saying if someone is not giving you anything, force him to fight. Push the tempo. Don't just have a feeling out round. Take advantage of this time. Now, once again, Fulghum is waiting to see the speed, the timing, feel the power of Vaughn Alexander. He doesn't want to get caught cold, but it's obvious he doesn't want to do anything. Like, dude, go after him. A very uneventful round number one comes to a close. And yeah, I'm hoping and I'm expecting round number two to pick up. Can't be any slower, guys. That first round was like watching paint dry. There it is. And low clarity has the beat. Look, with a guy as defensively responsible and as crafty as Vaughn Alexander is, it's very difficult to score effectively if he's not giving you any opportunities in which to land cleanly. But yes, he pushed the tempo. He controlled the action. But yeah, it's virtually impossible to get a knockout if a guy isn't willing to open up and give you those opportunities. Round number 2 begins. And expect Darius Fulghum now to start sitting on his shots a little bit more if Vaughn doesn't show him anymore. But Vaughn has always been a very awkward fighter, guys. He's a crafty, wily veteran, but he just, it almost seems at this juncture of his career, he's not interested in winning any fight. He's interested in a payday and he's interested in surviving. Good uppercut in the inside from Darius. Very creative. But Fulghum needs to bring the fight out of him. Start putting it on him. There's Vaughn Alexander with a little sign of life. Looping left hook. Darius right now just touching him up, trying to get him to open up. Because he knows he's not going to deliver anything of consequence if he continues to just cover up like that. So now Gabe Rosado is repeating and reciting exactly what I told you guys in the last round. He didn't come to win. Now, this is something that promoters absolutely can't stand. It's like, hey, man, did you just come for a paycheck? Dude, you're not going to get another one if that's the case. And Darius Fulghum is just playing patty cake with him now, just trying to get him to let his hands go and open up. 56 seconds left in round number 2 and nothing doing, guys. I wonder if Rick Glazier made this matchup in the main event. Because if he did, I'm gonna give him a call, give him some shit after this. And look, to Fulghum's credit, with 17 seconds left in round number 2, he's trying to land anywhere, even if he's just touching him with the gloves, just to get him to open up. Like, hey, man, what do I have to do? Are you here to let your hands go, or are you here to square dance? End of round number 2, and so far, this main event is less than scintillating. Chingao. Yeah, Lance, welcome to the show, sir. Greetings, my friend. Good to see you here, brother. Little clarity. I think Fulghum was doing that just to block his vision. Yep. Throwaway punches. They're just to, in the mortal words of Teddy Atlas, they're there to put bugs on the windshield. And that's it. Look, it's very difficult for a young fighter to land anything of consequence if your experienced, cagey, veteran opponent isn't willing to open up. And Fulghum is trying to get him to open up right now, just touching him all over the place, trying to give him targets to get him to let his hands go. Because the only way you're going to land anything of consequence is when you punch with him or counter him effectively, when he's got his arms extended. You know what? Darius is doing the right thing. I can't believe the ref just warned him to stop pushing him with the elbow. He's trying to get some clean targets. And if he uses the elbow, hey, so be it. I like right now what Darius is trying to do to get him to open up. And Vaughn Alexander is just not having any part of it. He's fighting very well, considering his opponent, what he's being offered right now. He's doing exactly what he should be doing. No. Yeah. Thank you for assessment, my friend. I love your eyes on this. And very astute, my friend, because I agree wholeheartedly. Now, listen to the Boo Birds now from the Fantasy Springs Casino. And I guarantee you guys, because we had several events there with Emmanuel, guarantee you that the overwhelming majority were being comped with tickets to this fight card. And so if customers who didn't even pay for their ticket are booing, that's not good. Yeah, do you see Fulghum's technique, though? Leaves a lot to be desired. Yeah, look, the Boo Birds are not having any part of this. They're letting both fighters know, hey, guys, we expect a little bit more. We want to see more fight in our fight, right? See, that's what Darius is looking for. He wants to see this guy let his hands go so he can hit him when he's not expecting it. Like, guys, I don't know if you've ever been in the ring. Oh, yeah. You can count it on two hands, brother. One hand, yep. But look, I don't know if you guys have ever been hit in the ring with on relaxed tissue when you don't see it coming. Because if you can see it coming, you're expecting it, you can brace yourself and you're fine taking the shot most of the time. But if you don't see it coming and you get hit on relaxed tissue and it's not, you're not bracing for it, man, that shit hurts. Oh, God bless all of you guys. Thank you for joining us. Now, Vaughn actually trying to be more aggressive in his approach. He's got a more aggressive stance. Let's see if that equates to a higher output. Now, that's very interesting if you're listening to Darius Fulghum's trainer from Houston, right? He said, look, Von Alexander's, we've studied him, and Von Alexander's modus operandi is to survive the first half of the fight and pick it up late and try to get him gassed by absorbing a lot of his offense. Well, it's a very dubious strategy at best, guys. Well, I can say this, Darius Fulghum, the natives are getting restless. But look, he's not doing a bad job. He's doing everything he should be doing at this time. He's just touching his opponent. And he's trying to find range. He's trying to create those openings, but nothing doing with Vaughn Alexander. He's not having any part of it. And he's using that forearm and that elbow to try and create space, kind of trying to wedge it in between Vaughn Alexander's defense to catch that opening for a sharp right hand. But it's proven to be very difficult at this time. With 48 seconds left in round number 4. So Vaughn isn't usually known as an inside fighter, and now he's using the tortoise defense and trying to bang on the inside, but nothing behind any of those shots, nothing of consequence. Like, what is he trying to do? Darius is a young guy who's in tip-top shape. He's lives a Spartan lifestyle. I don't know. I don't know what Vaughn is trying to do at this time. It's not intimidating him, that's for sure. Yeah, brother. Let me tell you, man. That's why my fight career was short. I could dish it out, but I couldn't take it. And I was, man, I had speed. I had some good crack in my shot too. But dude, let me tell you, I made Jorge Linares look like Randy Tex Cobb. I would get marked up and a fat lip with a nothing jab. So it's funny. Most fans don't realize what determines a lot of your success at the world class level is your ability to take a good shot, weather the storm, and forge ahead, fight through it with a great poker face. And it's not easy. It's not easy because that shit hurts, even with 16-ounce gloves, guys. Guys, we're in the beginning of round number 5, almost at the midway point, and both guys seemingly are still trying to play, still trying to figure out what they have on their plate. And you know what? You don't expect this from a prospect who's really trying to make a statement for the Golden Boy brass in attendance. Now, one thing that Fulghum has on his side is he's a big ticket seller in Houston. That's why they signed him, with as well as his athletic gifts. But we don't see him on display because he doesn't have the opportunity, to his defense. Yeah, right now, I don't understand what Vaughn is trying to do. Looks like he's trying to impose his will, but he's not throwing any shots. He's just covering up on the inside. And when he does let his hands go, it's nothing of consequence. Like, really, if you don't know how to fight on the inside proficiently, why are you trying to throw shots from that short a distance? It's like Vaughn is an experienced guy, but he's not that type of fighter. He doesn't get much leverage on the inside. So Darius needs to start picking it up, but you've got to be careful. Yeah, right now he's just touching him. He's just touching him, trying to create a stationary target, and it's not working. What I want to know is, guys, how many matchups did we see like this in the 80s and 90s? Did we see very many of these? Even at the prospect level, we didn't see very many of these. Most of the time, when you were getting a paycheck and someone flew you in to a casino in the main event, most of the time these fighters wanted to, well, they viewed it as a second chance, or they viewed it as, hey, you know what? I'm going to pull off the upset here. We don't see that from Vaughn Alexander. And I'm like, why are you even doing this still? Well, I will say this. I will say this, brother. And thank you for the clarity for hanging with me, brother, and commenting. He goes, I was an okay high school wrestler. I don't think I could take a punch, though. Well, I will say this, Lo. There's only one way to find out, brother. And you're a very smart man if you choose not to go that route. But thank you for hanging with me, brother. I appreciate it. Sizing up the talent. Well, you know what? Great fighters, great prospects. Like, remember Miguel Cotto at 140. Now, once again, this is 68, right? 75, maybe. Um, you have to create openings. You have to. You have to try. And not just playing patty cake on the inside. Sit on that shit. Sit on those shots. Come on now. Force him to fight. Don't just be content with a points victory. We're in the 6th round now, midway through the fight. And it looks like he's not showing the Golden Boy brass that sense of urgency that they're looking for. They want you to make a statement. And I know Vaughn Alexander isn't exactly playing along, but you've got to show them something. Look, to Darius Fulghum's credit, he's trying. He's really trying. He's trying to show him different angles, trying to pivot around him, trying to create some kind of opening. Vaughn Alexander isn't having any part of it. Look, every fighter needs a quality dance partner, someone who's willing to fight. If you're hiding behind your shield the entire time, you're not going to land anything of consequence. And Vaughn Alexander, guys, look, we've seen enough rounds now where you can safely say that he's here to collect a paycheck. That's it. And guys, you know, honestly, I really take exception to this era of fighters. I never saw this back in the 80s and 90s. Fighters who just were flown in to collect a paycheck. Well, then they didn't use you any longer if you did that. You know, I hope you're right, Clarity. I really hope you're right that fatigue could make the remaining rounds different. I hope so, brother. Because right now, it's like watching my grass grow, brother. No, I'm exaggerating. It's not that bad. But once again, and I'll never forget this, guys. A friend of mine who's a mainstream fan, right? Casual. He goes, look, man, this era of boxing, it's funny. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I use this a lot now. He goes, correct me, you know what? Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I don't know what I'm looking at, but I'd like to see more fight in my fights. And he's right. We like to see more fight in our fights. Good. Stiff jab. Gets the attention of Vaughn Alexander. Keep it up. If that's what he's giving you, then keep it up. Force him to do something else. You know what? I could anticipate that. And from what the broadcast just stated, that Darius Fulghum in the corner between rounds 6 and 7 told this corner that he hurt his right hand. And by the positioning of Vaughn Alexander's head, I could see that. So when he tries to land the right head or the right hand, it hits the crown of Vaughn Alexander's head. That is the best way to break your right hand. Now Vaughn Alexander doing decent work on the inside. Finally, some punches landed. He needs to maintain this, though. We're already in round number 7 at the 120 mark. Vaughn Alexander showing some signs of life momentarily. Let's hope that he sustains it, because Fulghum is now turned into a one-arm bandit. And maybe that's why he's letting his hands go. Maybe he's like, well, this guy's not throwing his right any longer. He's not even making it into a fist. See, that's why he's been playing patty cake this entire time, because that right hand, he can't put anything on it. And that's got to be really troublesome, really frustrating for Darius Fulghum. He wants to put forth a show, and he wants to put forth a good showing for the Golden Boy guys. But yeah, you can tell he's not letting his hands go, not letting that right hand go, especially. And if he does, he's just touching Vaughn Alexander with it. Wow. Guys, we're already 1 hour and 22 minutes, 23 minutes into the broadcast. Yeah, low clarity, his right hand, he thinks may be injured. He may have even broken it. So that's why he's not letting his hand go. And I knew that would be a possibility with the way Vaughn Alexander was covering up. If you try to land that right hand and force it in, yeah, you're going to break it on the crown of his head. Now, I'm a bit surprised, though, that Vaughn Alexander isn't trying to take advantage of this. Now, he's a smart guy. He's an experienced fighter. And he understands now, I'm sure he's ascertained that, yeah, Darius, his right hand, isn't an effective weapon any longer. I'm surprised that he's not trying to land that left hook, especially right there in position, right? It's like, just let it go, man. What are you doing? Round number 8 already, 158 left in the round. Less than 3 rounds left to go in the fight. You're the main eventer. You've been flown out here to put on a show. Come on, brother. Let your balls hang in the center of the ring. Chihuahua, man. Good little right hand, short right hand on the inside by Vaughn Alexander. Darius Fulghum is, well, he's only got some starch in his left. He's not really sitting on it. Darius hasn't really been sitting on his shots at all this entire evening. And it's a minute left in round number 8. Look, guys, you cannot blame this, though, on a broken hand. Look, in Gaddy Ward 3, Arturo Gaddy broke his right hand as early as round number 3, and he still won the fight with one hand. And that was against Mickey Ward. And that's the difference right now, guys. And once again, keep in mind, guys, this is a prospect against a more experienced, seasoned guy who's merely trying to go the distance here. He's merely trying to survive. And at the world class level, it's really difficult to hurt somebody who isn't giving you any targets and seems to be content with doing so, right? Chihuahua. Excuse me, guys. I have to go take a Veda test. I'll be back in 1 minute. Thank you for joining us, guys. Enjoy the fights. Tried to anyway. Hey guys, I'm back. Geez, what did I miss? At the 30-second round of, or 30-second mark of round number 9. Chihuahua. Yeah, look, guys, I've never liked that mentality of just win the fight. because this is indeed the internet entertainment business. You've got to make a statement, especially if you're a young fighter trying to make a name for yourself. Do something. Like, people are expecting to see something special, something that represents what could be the future of boxing in America. They don't want to see someone who is complacent with a victory, just a victory. But there is the old adage, right? Win ugly and look good tomorrow, right? Win ugly today and look good tomorrow. Oh boy. I was afraid of that, my friend. Chihuahua. Chingao, man. Yep. 10th round coming up, guys. Thank God. Praise Jesus. Guys, 90 minutes in to the coverage. And I tell you what, here comes Vaughn Alexander finally showing some signs of life in the outset of round number 10. And he's not doing anything now. But hey, this is what Darius Fulghum was waiting for Vaughn Alexander actually open up and show him something, get him some targets. What I want to know is, why isn't an experienced guy like Vaughn Alexander trying to take advantage of that hurt right hand from Fulghum? Chihuahua. Well, Alberto, I can tell you right now, you're being nice, brother. Thank you for hanging with us, my friend. I tell you what, we're going to talk about a lot when this is over, and it's going to be over very soon. The final round of action, guys. Thank you for hanging with me on this Golden Boy fight night. Yeah, that is an accurate depiction of it. Shakur De Los Santos vibes. Luckily though, this isn't on the big stage of ESPN, and this isn't a big sports weekend in Vegas, right? Because there were a lot of people. Now, keep in mind, guys, Shakur is going to be fighting soon in Newark, but he's still trying to shake the stench of that last performance. That's been, and guys, this is one of the reasons why we always urge fighters to stay active. Because if you have a shaky performance, it's imperative that you get in the ring as soon as possible. Because everyone remembers your last performance. And you know what they say, what fans always say, and this is an age-old adage: you're only as good as your last performance. Alberto, that's funny. Look, I'll say this, man. Rick is such a dear friend of mine, and he's such a great guy, and he's such a he works with so many. He's got, well, put it this way, he's got over 40 clients worldwide that he works with, right? And he usually delivers the goods. And look, I will say this: the fighters have something to do with it. And you know what? If he would have known that this guy was just going to show up to collect a paycheck, he would have never gotten him this opportunity, because now this makes Rick look bad to Oscar and Eric. But guys, in the after the fights, we're going to talk about not only Bill Haney versus Bill Haney and Ryan Garcia's conference call with Mill City Boxing. We're also going to talk about Oscar De La Hoya clowning Devin on Instagram. We'll also talk about the bad blood. And I was actually shocked about this between Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois. Does it make you, now I want to find out, guys, does it make you genuinely excited about the big fight in Wembley? Well, here comes a decision, as if you guys couldn't guess what it was going to be. Well, congratulations to Darius Fulghum. I don't know if he gained any new fans with this performance, but I guess it doesn't matter, guys. Congratulations to Darius, and thank you, Golden Boy, for staging this, at least trying to stage this matchup, for all of us who were wondering what the buzz was regarding Darius Fulghum. And I feel bad for the kid. He couldn't, not only did he have an opponent that wasn't interested in fighting back, but then he hurt his right hand on the big dome of Vaughn Alexander. It didn't help matters any. So, guys, let's shut this off. And I tell you what, guys, now we can start talking about everything that's happened today, right? And yesterday. Now, what do you want to talk about first, guys? Want to talk about Joshua Dubois? Those guys actually, having to be separated during the face-off filming. Daniel Dubois not showing any respect to Anthony Joshua. In my opinion, guys, first of all, what do you think, guys? How do you think this fight is going to play out? Riyadh season in Wembley. This is their first effort in the UK. And I really like that these guys are, Turki Al-Sheikh is interested in staging fights in their respective markets. Because one of the biggest criticisms that I've had with Turki Al-Sheikh is that, you can't create attractions if it's not in the right area. Just like Darius Fulghum, why are you staging him? I guess it's of no consequence now because of that performance, but why would you stage him to fight in the main event in California in the middle of the desert when he's a big ticket seller in Houston? That makes no sense to me. Alberto, he says, I'll never understand all the hate for Rick Glazer. Well, look, it comes from one side. And it's obviously sympathizers for PBC, guys who support Al Heyman and PBC. And there's a lot of history, and I'll let him tell you on his next show, right? I'll bring it up, and I'll let him tell you why he can't stand Al Heyman. He hates his guts. And this goes back over 20 years, right? When Al Heyman was only managing a couple of different fighters, one of them Vernon Forrest, the late great Vernon Forrest, the Viper, Rest in peace. But I'll let him explain this. I'll let him tell you the story. It's quite interesting. But there's a reason why he can't stand Al Heyman. And is almost hoping for the demise. Not almost, he's praying for the demise of PBC. And I keep trying to tell him, I'm like, look, Rick, this is symbiont business. If one promoter goes under, that's not good for all of us. Because we all share the same audience, guys. That's not good. That means the networks and whoever's in charge of these streaming sites that show boxing today, they're going to be pulling out the magnifying glass and looking at it with scrutiny. Because they're like, well, wait a minute. If someone packed it in and they've got all this talent, it doesn't work. Well, then is our product cost effective? And most fans don't realize that because they don't know how this business works. Right? So I'll let him tell you that. But you know what? I don't agree with Rick. And I've been friends with him for a while. And Rick he's consistent. He's solid, man. He does good business. And I love working with Rick. He's a great guy. So thank you for your comment, my friend. Clarity. AJ seems solid in the ring lately. Well, consider the opposition, though, my friend. Who's he fought? Francis Ngannou? Who else? We'll see. We'll see, guys. But look, AJ has always been athletically gifted. He's always been blessed with that explosive power, combining speed with power, right? And one thing that he sacrifices, though, with combining speed with power, and this is something that Emmanuel Stewart taught me. If you combine speed with power, you ultimately sacrifice volume. And if he's a counterpuncher by trade, then that means if you give him an intelligent jab like Alexander Usyk, you're going to freeze him. He's not going to know when to let his hands go. He's waiting for that opening, and he's looking for everything. He's looking for the shoulders. He's looking for the arms. He's looking for the elbows. He wants to be able to tip off when you're letting your hands go because he's a counterpuncher. And when you're constantly using that herky-jerky, feinting motion and not a stationary target, moving constantly around the pocket, yeah, it's going to befuddle him. He's going to freeze. And that's what we saw in both Usyk fights. He didn't have an answer, guys. But Daniel Dubois, that's a very different opponent, right? Guys, look, on paper and from what we've seen, all of us, on film, we watch all the fights. And from what we see, guys, I hate to say this for any Daniel Dubois fans, but he looks tailor-made for Anthony Joshua. In fact, guys, you don't want to test the power of Anthony Joshua. This guy loads up on everything, and he's lightning fast for a heavyweight. If you do not disrupt his timing and rhythm, if you don't do that, in which Daniel Dubois doesn't, he's still a young fighter, respectively. Yeah, you're going to time him. You're going to time him, and you're going to hit him with that straight 1-2 down the middle. And let's just face it, guys. Anthony Joshua has zero fat on that steak. He doesn't have very much wasted movement in his punches. He uses the old adage, well, the quickest way from A to B is a straight line. Well, that's how he throws punches. And I don't see Daniel Dubois making it out of the 5th round. Anthony Joshua is arguably the hardest puncher in the division at this time. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I don't see it. I don't see Triple D making it past the 5th round. If you consider how often he was hit with that right hand of Vergovich, yeah, I don't see him making it out of this fight. I don't even see him making it out of the 5th round. Let's. And I'm gonna talk about your last 2 posts, Alberto. Joe, did you see that Turkey is also? Yes, I did. He is sponsoring the Mexican Independence Day card at the Sphere. Dana said Turkey has provided 12 million already. Is he leaving? No. He understands that the key to making both products flourish is combining both fan bases, right? And Dana White has said that recently as well. Look, Dana loves boxing. He's a boxing fan. You wouldn't know it by hearing him speak with the media, but I know this for a fact. He loves boxing. And he's loved boxing for a very long time. In my opinion, the strategy for Turkey Al Sheikh long term, if he's going to be spending this kind of money, he wants both products to appeal to both fan bases. He wants there to finally be some spillover, right? And he's trying to put together the fights that attract the mainstream and casual fan base. Let's just face it, guys. UFC, guys, they aren't the most educated and knowledgeable fight fans in the world. They like to see puros chingazos, but it's not like they know what they're looking at in the ring. They wouldn't know if a guy had good technique or bad. They just want to see fists fly and they want to see action. That's it. And Turkey Al Sheikh knows that. So does Dana White. And in my opinion, his investment in UFC, it could prove to be a great thing for boxing. Because I have no idea why UFC fans still carry around these daggers for boxing. Oh, UFC is a much better product. Who cares? Like, dude, it's incomparable. They're both very different. In my opinion, the much higher skill level is what I'm most attracted to, and that's by far boxing. And when you consider that pugilism, what they consider in UFC striking, right? When you consider that, that's by far the most attractive combat discipline. Yeah, it's like, what's not to love about boxing, guys? Low clarity. You say, I'm a new fan of boxing, but I feel like it's an amazing product. Yes, it is, sir. Thank you. God bless you, man. It's just inconsistent because of how wild it is and all the different parties and incentives. You know what? That's a very good observation. Very astute. But look, guys, it's inconsistent because of 2 things. One, well, you could say one thing, strength and conditioning coaches. And that's a perfect segue into our conversation with Ryan and Bill Haney. Well, look, guys, that's actually brilliant, Joe. They're going to feed off of UFC, just how WWE and UFC feed off of each other. That's right. That's the idea. Once again, guys, this is still the entertainment platform, right? And one thing about boxing, once again, the fans don't realize this, the ones that choose sides, right? But we all depend on one fan base. If you like to see fights, if you love boxing, then we all try to appeal to the same fan base. It's something that fans on Twitter and on Facebook have no clue about. They think it's a good thing that they've chosen sides and they support one promoter or one network over another. That's nonsense, guys, because no one in this business thinks like that. It's nonsense and it's immature. And it tells you very quickly that they have no idea what the hell they're talking about. And I think Turkey Al Sheikh, if he's in it for the long haul, it will prove to be productive. It will prove to be fruitful for him and for us, obviously. Look, but guys, did you see that Instagram, or I'm sorry, that conference call with Zab Judah, Mill City, Bill Haney, and Ryan Garcia? Guys, it was obvious that Bill Haney showed up for one reason. And what we said, as far as motivation and reasoning, why Bill Haney and Devin Haney are taking this position is because they're interested in one thing and one thing only. And that's creating a negative perception and basically trying to plant this seed in fans' heads that the only reason why Devin lost the fight was bludgeoned was because of the positive test. And anyone listens to this channel, and anyone in the sport understands that that wasn't the reason. Alberto, you're absolutely right. But you know what? If you're trying to be slick, you're trying to divulge information, then you'd better understand what you're actually talking about. And it was obvious that Bill Haney had no idea what he was talking about. This is what I can't understand. You have your son working with a guy like Victor Conti, and you still don't understand what PEDs do? You don't understand the difference? Like, you don't even understand what Osterine does. Like, it's shocking, man. So, look, giving Bill Haney the benefit of the doubt, I don't think he's that stupid. So I think he was just trying to, once again, create that facade that Ryan's a drug cheat. And it was obvious, guys, and this has been a huge pet peeve of mine, as well as a lot of people in the business, right? If you really are interested in cleaning up the sport, then it's a very easy solution. Ostracize the strength and conditioning coaches. One, they're the obvious drug pushers in boxing. So when Ryan Garcia said, well, look, that guy Scooter, my coach from LA, he was trying to help me lose weight, and I just took whatever supplement he gave me. I don't even know what he gave me. Well, look, Ryan, for his, well, put it this way, business image, his perception from fans. If I were advising Ryan Garcia, I would tell him, brother, drop Scooter in the grease. Throw him under the bus. Blame everything on him because you're saying that you trusted him and you ignorantly took whatever he was giving you because you trusted him. And you tested positive and are going to have to sit out for an entire year as a result. Throw him under the bus and put a spotlight on the real problem here. Guys, it's very simple. Emmanuel Stewart told me a long time ago, well, if you want to get PEDs out of this business, you get rid of the strength and conditioning coaches, the drug pushers of boxing. Big win. Welcome to the show, sir. Who won the Fulghum fight? If you want to call it a fight, I guess so. But it was a very lackluster performance. Not a lot of action, and Fulghum won 9 rounds to 1. And honestly, I felt bad for the kid because he wanted to make a statement and he broke his right hand early in the fight. And so he was pushing his shots. Not a whole lot of starch behind it. And that's not his fault. That happens in a fight. But it doesn't help when your opponent is just trying to cover up the entire time. What's up, boxing scientists? How you doing, my friend? But guys, going back to Haney Ryan. Now he used to tell me, it's amazing, Joseph, it's amazing before these assholes infiltrated our business. We never used to have to worry about anyone pissing dirty. And he was right. Emmanuel was right. We never had to worry about this in the 80s. It started in the 90s when strength and conditioning coaches being ostracized from other competitions, right? We never had to worry about that. And so it's very simple, guys. You want to get rid of this PED issue. Fighters need to be convinced now that they don't need S&C coaches to win a championship, to compete at the highest level. They don't need them. Look at years past. Look at eras past. Did Marvin Hagler have an S&C coach? No, he did road work. He did a hard sparring. Nothing prepares you better for the rigors of battle than hard sparring. Nothing prepares you. That's the best way to mentally and physically prepare yourself for the hardest fight imaginable. Like, seriously, mentally, from a mental perspective. Does jumping on boxes and waving ropes, does that help you when you're faced with a guy who's trying to take your head off? No, it doesn't. This is a no-brainer, guys. You want to clean up the sport? If you really are interested in cleaning up the sport, get these assholes out of our business. That's it. Victor Conti's a con man. He's a shyster. And if fighters and everyone involved are interested in cleaning up this business, get them out of here. Get them out. And I promise you, not only will we clean up the sport, but the product will become a lot more fan-friendly. In my opinion, guys, from my experience in this business, it's hindered the product. Guys understand that their opponents are packing heat, that their opponents are punching harder as a result of PEDs. Guys, it's no secret. Everyone is doing it. Why do you think Devin Haney's working with Victor Conti? And I love that Ryan brought that up. Something that we regularly talk about. Well, wait a minute. Why are you working with Victor Conti then? And why isn't that getting any scrutiny? Solo. Thank you for joining us, Solo Dodo. We appreciate it, brother. Alberto. You're spot on, Joe. Thank you, my friend. The strength and conditioning coaches are the masterminds. They are the drug pushers of boxing. They're scumbags. They're con artists. Let me ask you something. Do any of these fighters, do they really need S&C coaches to win a title? No. Because so many fighters before them became champions, all-time greats, without the use of an S&C coach. They're con men. They're trying to make a buck off of the backs of these hardworking fighters. And so if Ryan is smart with the attention that he gets, all he has to do to raise this perception, this scrutiny for S&C coaches, is to drop Scooter in the grease, the guy who gave him the drugs, the guy who gave him the supplement, and he blindly trusted this guy. He stated today, hey, you know what? I don't know what happened. I really don't know what I took. I don't even know the name of the supplement that he gave me. He just gave me these pills and I took them because I was trying everything to lose weight. Well, one, yeah, didn't help him lose weight. Osterine doesn't do that. And two, yeah, put him on the shelf for an entire year. Drop this guy in the grease. Raise this topic so it gets the maximum amount of awareness. Guys, look, Victor Conti was ostracized from other mainstream sports. Most S&C coaches are here as a last resort. Most of them have been banned from Olympic competition and working with their athletes. And they end up in boxing. And why? Because it's a wild, wild west. There is no regulation. Anyone can get into this business. But unless you know what you're doing, you're not going to stay. But that's not stopping anyone from getting into this business. Get them out of here. If you really are interested in cleaning up the sport, get these opportunists out of our business. It's undeniable, guys. Identify the problem and find the solution. That's it, guys. What else do you need? Think about this. What else do you need? In my opinion, guys, once again, it's not only made everyone worry about their opponent testing positive, but also the guys punching harder. Everyone is doing it. It's the worst kept secret in boxing. And it's turned the product into a somewhat unwatchable one at the mainstream level. Let's just face it, guys. Mainstream and casual fans, they're unnecessary evil in this business. They don't know what they're looking at, but we depend on them to really generate big money and big numbers. We need to get them involved out of necessity. Unfortunately, most of them don't know what they're looking at, so they want to see action. And if a prize fighter is respecting their opponent's power, you really think, like tonight, Vaughn Alexander, do you really think he's going to be willing to let his hands go in the pocket? Like, think about this. In the juiced era of boxing, will we ever see a Gaddy Ward ever again? And why not? Because they know. They all understand that these guys punch considerably harder than eras past, right? So how many wars do you see above the 126-pound weight division? When is the last time you've seen a war at 160, like Marvin Hagler versus John the Beast Mugabe? The only time you see wars now is what we're going to see tomorrow night at 115. Bam Rodriguez versus El Gallo Estrada. And why? Because they don't pack a wallop. Anything over 47 now, you never see. Like even at lightweights, you never see guys sit in the pocket and trade. And why? because they're going to get knocked the fuck out. And why? Because of all these con men, S&C coaches, who like to latch on to an athlete and make a living by giving him drugs. Think about this, guys. Where do the drugs come from? Where do PEDs come from? Yeah, the S&C coaches. Guys, fighters, they don't care about that shit. They don't know where to get it. They trust the guys that they hired. Trust the guys that they make part of the team. And you know what? It's a liability, obviously. So how do you rectify that? Throw these guys under the bus. Drop them in the fucking grease, pardon my French. That's the only way to clean up the sport. And if fans truly care about that, they're going to be banging the drum for it. That's the only solution, guys. Like, why are they even here? Correct me if I'm wrong, but have you seen anyone with an S&C coach who matches the output of Boom Boom Mancini? No. You look at all the records for the highest punch output in a fight, it's all before 70s and 80s. It's in those eras. And why? Because they sat in the pocket and fought. They weren't expecting a sledgehammer in the pocket from short range. They actually traded. Like, think about this, guys. Go watch tonight. Fernando Vargas versus Felix Trinidad. Look at all the action at 54. Are we ever going to see a fight like that at 154 pounds ever again? Will we ever see that again in this era? No. S&C coaches are doing more harm to the sport than good. Get these con men out of the business. And that's the last I'm going to say about that. Yeah, I don't think there's anything more to say about that. Hard times. Welcome to the channel, sir. He says, is Turkey bankrolling the UFC Sphere fight within Canelo? Yeah, he is. So, guys, once again, don't put it in the same venue. Don't put it in the same city. It's a different market. So we are hoping that will change over time. But look, expect Canelo to fight Edgar Berlanga in MSG. It's in a different time zone, and it's not going to affect the productivity of both events. Expect that. I know everyone was expecting me to say, oh, that just proves it. We need to see Benavidez, Canelo. No. Look for that next year, 2025. When he can successfully kill Benavidez to make 168. He's going to try and kill him to make weight. And a year older, yeah, he'll be able to. Guys, expect Berlanga in September. Expect Crawford Cinco de Mayo of next year. And expect Benavidez in September. And after that, you may see Canelo Alvarez right off into the sunset like the Western heroes do. That's my prediction. Guys, I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to pack it in a little bit early tonight because my voice is feeling really fatigued. But I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight. If you have any final questions while I'm still on the air, please let it fly. Otherwise, we will see you tomorrow. We've got a full day. And I'm going to have to get some rest because my voice is feeling like ground beef. Anyway, I hope that helps. But guys, I'm sick and tired of having to deal with this unnecessary drama, right? I'm sick of it. It's not necessary, and the fighters don't need these clowns who know nothing about boxing. And it does not replace hard sparring in mental and physical preparation for a big prize fight. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, Alberto. I appreciate it, my friend. Yeah, my voice isn't the same right now. I need to get some rest. But God bless you, man, and thank you for always being here, my friend. So guys, I'm Joseph Aaron. You've been listening to War Week Boxing. Have a great evening, everybody.
W.A.W presents Big Time Boxing USA on War of Week Radio.